so glad you're here. Thank you for joining us for Tampa Home Talk.
Thank you for having me.
This is our second hour, Kim.
I know. I'm excited to be here.
I know. So joining me this morning is Miss Kimberly Bridges with the Flipped Room. And that she does indeed. She does flip the rooms for us so that they can show amazing. And Mr. Leo Kane, of course, sticking around for the second hour as well.
I just loved the first hour. We talked about why you need a realtor, and now we get to talk the second hour and why you need to stage your house.
Well, realtors like me keep you guys busy.
Staging houses?
Well, we keep Kim busy too, but
Yeah. That's awesome.
we keep you busy with inspections.
How was that bagel?
I have it in my teeth, I think.
I know.
Does it smell like garlic?
Yeah, it's a garlic bagel. Was that an everything bagel or a garlic
It was
bagel?
everything. And I could smell the garlic through the bag.
You know, I had a hummus. Sorry, we get off topic in the first segment.
We got to give a shout out to Mark Steckman. Thank you for the
Yes.
bagels.
I had a hummus the other day, and it was called the Everything Bagel Hummus.
Oh, nice.
And it tasted like an everything bagel.
Was there bread in there?
The hummus. Well, hummus is has some kind of bread
beans.
stuff.
It's chickpeas.
It's chickpeas, but
Yeah.
it is carby. So, but it was just awesome taking an everything hummus and
Without
putting it
the
on
bread.
celery and eating
I would
it. That was-
totally have that.
It was
Yeah.
delicious.
Where'd you find it?
It was Boris had something or other.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so
Where's it at a store or not?
probably in local Publix.
Okay. Yeah, they have all that good
You
stuff.
can get it
deli
from
stuff.
you can get it from your grocer's deli. Yeah, your grocer's
go.
deli. There we go.
So some of the things we talked about in the last hour, Kim, was making the most amount of money when you sell and how somebody like me can help make that happen.
Yes.
So our author number is 813-377-2775 in case you missed it in the first hour. I know I did not give it out enough. I get that complaint a lot, actually. I think I give it out too much, and they're like, no, you didn't give it out enough. Because the average listener listens for about 12 minutes when they're in and out of the car. So 813-377-2775. You can call or text us if you want to get a hold of myself, Mr. Leo, Kimberly Bridges, or anybody that we've had on the show. We can get you connected. So, man, staging. Let's talk about staging because a lot of people think that's decorating and it's really not.
It's not decorating at all. It's very difficult to live in a staged home.
Oh, it is.
Staged homes, when you look at a magazine picture and you say, oh, I would love to live there. No, you wouldn't, because it has to stay that way all the time.
I love it that you just flat out admit that. It's so great.
It's so hard. Well, expectation. You have to set expectation. When someone thinks you're going to come in and stage their home, they love the way it looks when it's done, but it's very difficult to live there because you're cutting down the amount of furniture, seating space, when you look at a home, you think, okay, this home is worth X amount of dollars. Every piece of flooring that you see in that home, that's money.
That's right.
So the more floor you see, the more money you're going to make.
That is such a simple way to put it, and it's just so true. It's so true.
It's a matter of
Floor and wall space.
Yes, and it's a matter of you are emotionally invested in your home. You love this house. This is maybe where you raised your children. This is where you spent some really fantastic times. You know why you have that window blocked up or that door blocked because you want an extra chair for all the, for more people to come and sit or to be able to entertain. But when someone's coming into your home, they don't understand those things. They don't have that history. So you want to appeal to as many buyers as possible and help them to see the potential of each room, not just what you use it for.
And part of that's really taking yourself out of the equation of that home.
Absolutely.
So we're making that shift between a home to a house that a buyer can see themselves living in.
Absolutely. And, we were walking through your relative's home the other day, and you were like, I'm just too close to it. I can't do this. And that's very
Excellent
true.
point. I'm so glad you brought it up.
Yeah, most people don't understand, even decorators need people to come in and do that for them because they're so emotionally invested. They're emotionally invested not only in the home, but in every piece that they have, every piece of furniture or the curtains that they picked out and had made or, any of those things.
And it's an interesting point just to tag on to what you're talking about, Kim, because I have my ASP designation, which is accredited staging professional.
Right.
Again, these 3 letters don't mean anything to anybody outside of the real estate community.
Right.
But what it means is basically I know how to stage homes. I can do it, but that's not like my highest and best use, right? Like
Exactly.
You want me negotiating your deal. You want me helping you get to the process. Then we'll get ready for Kim to come in. But that's the thing. Like you're too close to it. So even if I were to sell my own home and I know how to stage properties, I would still pay you to come in and stage my home.
Exactly.
Because it's worth the money and it's worth the time.
It is. And I have no emotional involvement other than to try to make your home the best possible offer that we can get.
Yeah. One of the properties that we have coming on the market really, really, really soon, you're going to be staging today on Bel Air Loop. And the interesting part about that is, you know, it's a husband and a wife, and one of the homeowners like, I know how to stage, I know how to decorate, I don't think we need to spend the money on a stager. And so that's where somebody like me, I'm going to come in and tell you the truth no matter what. Like, even when you don't want to hear it, I'm going to tell you the truth. And I say, look, I feel so strongly about staging, I will pay for Kim to come in and stage your home. And I know when she's done, you're going to agree with me that it was worth the time, the money, and the effort.
It's going to look different. It's not going to look the way you see it because and you're so close to it that you can't really see it any other way. So we want the homeowner they do want to love it. I just staged the house out in a Riverview for you. And the owner...
Some of these homes are so different.
Oh, the owner was like, you made me fall in love with this house all over again. And they're moving out of state.
That's how we know we did it right.
Yes.
That's how we know we did it right.
And it's very sparse. I mean, you couldn't live there because there's not a lot of furniture there. But there again, you know, every square inch of flooring you see, that's money. And we just want people to see the potential. We want them to see their things in that space, not your things.
So in this particular thing, and I think this came from a staging report, which Leo and I both believe this is 100% more accurate than the one that we read the profile. I just don't think that data is accurate. But this one says 92% of homes buyers found online first. And so that's the point, right? Is making sure that it can shine online first.
Absolutely. Even people who are not in the market immediately, they're still looking at houses. Of course, I have a vested interest. I look at houses online all the time. And even as a stager, when a house comes up and I'm like, oh, this is a really nice house on the outside, I see potential. I look on the inside and it's cluttered everywhere. They still have magnets on their refrigerator. Their countertops are completely
drives
covered.
me insane.
Well,
I can't stand it.
So in pictures...
I love magnets on refrigerators. What's wrong with that?
But here's the thing, and when I'm looking at photos, especially with my sellers, I love it when we're looking at comps online for their home, and we start going through. I go, look at that. Where did your eye go to that photo? The second you look at it, that's what I ask them.
All that clutter.
And then I say that's why we stage.
Yes, yes. That you don't want anything to distract a potential buyer from seeing the potential in that home. And refrigerator magnets, all your Hummel display figurines, all those things distract from the potential buyer.
Bottom line is when we're in a property with a buyer, that's exactly what happens. And so when our sellers are also buying and we start looking at properties first to see what will replace their home, I love it because I know we're going to walk into one of these homes and I'm going to flat out catch them looking at something on the wall, looking at those figurines, looking at whatever you're saying. And then I go, hey, what are you doing right now? What are you looking at? That's what I tell them. And the point is I want to catch them in the act before they even realize they've done it. And then I say, that's exactly why we're staging, because you went in, you looked right at the degree on the wall where the seller went to school, or you looked right at their family photos. You couldn't help it. It's human nature. You want to see who's living here and why they're selling.
Yes, we're curious by nature, and we want to know about this home. But what we should really be focused on when we're trying to buy a home are the bones, not the people who live there, but when we are living there. Can we imagine ourselves there? It's a huge investment, and we just buy on emotion. And so we want to love that home. We want to see the potential. And maybe we don't need a 4-bedroom home, but then we see an extra room staged as an exercise room. Oh, wow, could really use that space.
That might work out, yeah.
Yeah, could really use that space.
And there's times that buyers are cutting their expenses, right, to buy a home. So maybe someone's getting rid of their gym membership, trying to figure out what they're going to do. So when you have that room staged as an exercise room, it's just easier. 77% of agents say that it's easier for their buyers to visualize how they will live in the home if it's been staged.
Absolutely.
And it's 100% accurate. So we would love to give you a free assessment, right, Kim? We can offer a free in-home evaluation to give you a staging report and give you an idea of what it will take to get your home ready. It's a lot more work than people think.
Yes.
I was looking at one of the streams earlier, and someone says, I didn't realize Kim was going to be here for 5 hours. She might be. Yes. She might be. All right, our off-air number is 813-377-2775. You can call or text. We'll get you hooked up with Kim, myself, or Leo, so you can find those defects before the buyer does. 813-377-2775. And this is Tampa Home Talk. We'll be back right after this break. Stick around.
Well, good morning. Welcome back. You're listening to Tampa Home Talk. We're here learning how to stage a freshly sellable house to make it even more sellable. Isn't that right?
We're learning how that planning and preparation can actually make a big difference on your first impression.
We're also covering the 4 reasons to stage your house and the 6 most important rooms to stage.
And just in case you missed it, our entire show rolls to a podcast. We can also send you a link. Just reach out at our off-air number, 813-377-2775. You can call or text that number. Just text STAGE, and we'll get Kim over to give you a room-by-room review and a free home staging report to let you know how you can get the most money for your house and sell it in the shortest amount of time possible. So 813-377-2775. And in case you missed it, 92% of buyers, they start their home search online, and 77% of agents will even tell you buyers can easily visualize themselves living in the home when it's been staged.
Yes.
I have a question about the exercise room that you wanted to stage. Does it come complete with like clothes drying on all the different pieces of equipment? Because that's what all exercise rooms turn into over time.
All the clothes hanging. Well, these yoga mats and the Pilates ball, and it's just a suggestion. We don't want to cover up all the floor space, remember?
Yeah. So basically, and again, we talked about this in the last segment, but I just want to bring it up again. When people say, like, they don't recognize their home, or they love it, or they're excited about their home again, or they say things to you like, you made me fall in love with my home all over again, that's how we know it was done right.
Yes. So we get caught up in our daily lives and forget that our home is our sanctuary. And so even if you are not ready to sell your house right now, but you just want to live better, you could have me come in and just, say, I don't want it completely staged, but what are things I can do to free up some of this clutter so that it actually makes my life better?
Or just to make it feel better.
It does feel better. You get rid of that clutter, and to change the layout, because you just can't see how it can work any other way.
Furniture positioning is huge.
It is huge.
It's a big thing.
Mm-hmm. People block windows and they don't realize they're blocking light and air, and you can breathe better when there's light and air.
We open all that up. We don't want anything blocked. No blocked windows, doors.
Exactly.
Nothing like that.
Well, in a staged home, there's no reason to block windows or doors. You want the potential buyer to see every potential there, not just the one that the current owner has.
Do you have any of the stats? Because I know 100% for a fact stage homes sell faster than they would if they weren't staged. But do you know off the cuff how many more days faster it sells?
I haven't looked at the recent. I think the most recent ones I've looked at are 2017. Been too busy to look at stats. On the average, I think they sell at least 30 days faster. It could be more than that, just because.
Yeah, we're at a time when the market's getting a little bit longer. We're creeping into that. So,
yes.
And then those reports, of course, are like,
They're whole country too. And it's not. And so Florida is very specific. We have a different type of clientele. People move here for a reason, not just job related.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Again, Love Where You Live will fix it, right? If you've been living in those crazy climates in the polar vortex, might be a great time to think about at least considering a second home, right?
Absolutely.
Or if you're watching on Facebook Live and you have family that lives in those polar vortex climates, tag us.
What is a polar vortex? Is that the new buzz phrase for
then they literally had a polar vortex.
Yes.
And I was talking about that because one of my clients that closed escrow this week was in that. Like right when he was here looking, and his wife wanted to come, but she was a teacher and she couldn't. Well, that polar vortex was getting ready to roll through. The whole Midwest. It's a big a big snowstorm, basically. Mm-hmm. So essentially, they were closing down schools and everything.
Wow.
So she grabbed literally one of the last minute flights out to come look at homes with him. Isn't that awesome? I was like,
that is awesome. My daughter lives in North Dakota, so yeah, she experienced that. It was pretty horrendous.
Yeah, I mean, literally. And then when I start talking to them, and we had a client in this week from Wisconsin, and I'm like, I say, hey, so tell me more about, why you're looking to move here. And they're like, well, we were away and we came back. They're like, are you familiar with when that polar vortex happened? I said, yeah.
Yeah.
We had a customer here. And they said, well, we went back. It was -40 and we just decided we were done.
I don't blame you.
So if you or someone is kind of done with that, call
Yes.
or text us at 813-377-2775. 813-377-2775. And thank you for your compliment that you gave us off air. I appreciate that.
Yes, well, I'll give it again. I love working with your clients. You've prepared them for what is about to happen. You really want the best for them. You want the most money for their house, the fastest sell, and you are willing to do whatever it takes to get them what they want and get them out quickly, which is generally what they want.
The thing that makes me different, Kim, I would say from everybody else, I'm going to tell them what they don't want to hear.
Absolutely.
I'm going to tell them the truth, even when they don't want to hear it.
Right.
And I legitimately do want them to get more money. So when I look at them and I think about taking on their home as a home we're going to sell,
Right.
I am going to represent their interests like I would my own.
Absolutely. And I see that with every home. I do. And they, by and large, of course, I don't think they would complain to me anyway, but everyone sings your praises. And I'm like, yes, I love working with Katrina and with her clients because you know what you're doing. And I feel confident that I'm not going to tie up all my inventory in your homes because that loses me money.
Yes, that's such a good point. So the longer your furniture and your things, even accessories, are in the home, it costs you money.
Absolutely.
Because if you have all your stuff out in properties, you have to go get more stuff.
Exactly. So I want to do a good job for you so that the home sells fast.
Wait a second. So a stager basically gets other people to pay them to store their stuff in their house.
No. Oh, well, theoretically, yes, but
not really, because it's kind of difficult for them to time it out, right?
Yes.
On exactly what's going to be where. I mean, you've got 5 storage units?
Yes.
And that doesn't change whether all your inventory's out or not.
Yeah, I still have to pay for that storage space, and it is actually looking very depleted right now. So.
And here's another little pet peeve, right? If your home is stage and there's white towels and you're living in there, please don't use the white towels to wipe your hands.
Yes, we have a contract for that. You will be replacing and buying me some new white towels.
It never ceases to amaze me, but it happens.
Yes. Well, I think a lot of times that's the reason I want to know if there are children, if there are pets, because I'm not going to put things. I'm going to try not to make your life any harder than it has to be in a staged home. Yeah. I won't put white towels. I might not.
Well, the cool part is we know it's difficult.
Yes.
Right, to live in a staged home. We know
absolutely. That. Well, sometimes people don't know that, but you do a really good job of informing them.
Yeah, we try to explain to them, and I'm pretty straight up about it. Like when we go to sell their home, and I know we're getting into the hardest part for them, which is going to be in the preparation,
yes,
the planning, all the preparing to get ready, where they're going to have to go through staging and pack stuff up and get rid of things. I know that's going to be one of the most difficult parts for them. I know that.
It is.
And I tell them straight up going into it, look, this is not fun. This is not going to be your idea of a good time.
Yep.
We're going to do our best to make it really easy for you. But at the end of the day, we know that this process is right up there with death, divorce, taxes, right? I mean, think about that. There's a lot of people listening right now that are probably preparing for their taxes. And it's just not on the fun list, right? We get that. But we also know if we take the time to do that, we're going to make you more money. And that's the goal.
Yes.
So what are some of the most important rooms, Kim, to stage? And then tell me why. Like, if you had to pick one room in the house, what would be your number one?
Whatever room is your first impression. Obviously, the outside of the house is very, very important. You don't drive through a neighborhood and look at this rundown, scraggly lawn and say, oh, I want to see that house. You drive by and you see the best kept home and you say, I want to see that one. So that's your first impression.
And we've literally had people roll up to a property and say, like, maybe everything was great when they took the photos, and then when they got there, not so much. And they're like, I don't even want to see this one. You can take it off the list.
Yes.
I mean, it happens. Or maybe that's the best house in the neighborhood, and they get by the neighborhood and they don't like it. There's times people take it off.
Yep.
And I tell the sellers, I go, look, it's my job to bring people in. It's your job to price it right and get it ready so that people want to buy it and
Correct.
take care of it and keep it up.
Yes. Because it doesn't matter how well it's decorated on the inside. If it's not well kept, then
We've had people literally go through and take photos, like right after Kim has been done staging. So like, okay, I'm going to go back and look at this so I know exactly how it needs to look when people come through the house.
I suggest that to them. That way, if they know they're going to have to move things around, especially like things on the table, for dining or eating, it's hard to live in a staged home, but with a little preparation you can. I mean, you've already done all the hard part. You've packed and you purged and you've decluttered and you've cleaned. You've done all those important things. So now is the time just to coast, to keep it up.
Yep.
And you'll be out soon.
And the more you keep it like that, the faster, I promise you, it will sell.
Yes.
I promise it will. All right, so when we come back, we're going to talk about the 6 most important rooms to stage and why they're important. And then we'll talk about some simple fixes to basically get the most amount of money for your home when you sell. And our off-air number is 813-377-2775. You can call or text us to get information, 813-377-2775. And last time, 813-377-2775. This is Tampa Home Talk. I'm your host, Katrina Madewell, with Leo Kane and Kim Bridges with the Flipped Room. And we will be back right after this very short break. So stick around.
Morning. We're back with Tampa Home Talk. This is your sidekick for the hour, Leo Kane, sitting with
I
Katrina.
love to call you my sidekick.
I like being the sidekick. And then we're here with Kimberly, and we're just learning about why you need to stage. I want to know where to stage. I mean, I'm thinking she's going to come in and bring me new landscaping at this point. Did you bring me new landscaping?
She's not doing
no,
it,
but I'll tell you. I'll tell you need to get new landscaping.
Do you give me like a nice white fence? Do you
I
paint?
don't think you want her digging in the dirt and then putting white towels up in your bathroom. That's probably not a good plan.
So what happens when your inspectors, because I'm guilty of this all the time, your inspectors use those white towels to dry their hands?
Yeah, well, unfortunately, the homeowner is going to reimburse me for those.
We don't know. I learn something new all the time. We never knew not to. As an inspector, we're just thankful that the staged home has soap and then has a towel for us to dry our hands with that soap. And we take full advantage of that.
And sometimes there's not soap in my dispensers; they're all empty. Occasionally there's soap in there, but most of the time.
I went and we changed the lighting now in one of my listings, and that's exactly what we did. Was we changed everything, and then I went to use the soap. I was like, oh, this must be Kim's. I need some soap.
Well, if you look under the sink, generally there's
cleaning supplies. Yeah,
it was under the sink.
Yep. So the best rooms to stage in a home, and I think a first impression, you can't ever get past a first impression, but when you open the door, whatever it is that you see when you open the door, whatever pathway your eye follows should be the wow factor.
Yes.
If it can't be, then you have to rethink that. That's another reason you might need a stager to come in. But the living room obviously is generally the first room that you see. So you want it to be there again, we don't want to clutter it up with too much furniture, but you want it to be clean, updated furniture, cohesive pattern. And one of the things that a stager will do is put in a certain color in that room to draw your eye, because your eye will go to whatever color there is in it. Without fail, I would say 99% of the homes I go into have dark furniture. They're very earth tones. It's usually brown, beige, black, navy, those colors. And so if we add a contrasting color, pillow, drapes, artwork, the eye will go to that first, and not to it won't take in the type of furniture. It will just take in the color and draw your eye to the furthest point of the room. That creates space, and it makes the room appear much larger.
And again, we're selling that floor and wall space.
That's right.
That's the point.
Absolutely. So if you have a picture stopping your eye from going to the furthest point, then you want to remove that picture. You want your eye to go to the furthest point of the room. So,
and everybody can't see that. Not everyone can see what you see.
Correct. Well, because a lot of times a homeowner's emotionally invested. They can't see beyond that. They can't see what they've always seen. It's very difficult. When you look in the mirror, you see something totally different than when you meet a stranger.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that an interesting point? That really is.
So it's the same way with your home. Someone walks in and sees something totally different than what you've envisioned, but not if you are slapping them in the face with it. your vision, your style is not everyone's style. So my job is to appeal to the largest pool of buyers and all the different styles. So there may be a little bit of eclectic, and one house that is clearly more of a country area might get a bit of a modern twist, because even people who like modern live in the country areas or further out. So
yeah, and we remove a lot of the bold stuff too, right? Like you would want leopard prints and
correct.
And sometimes that's hard for homeowners to detach, right, from their theme. We see that.
Right. It's their house. They built it that way. So when we go in, we stage the living room, we stage the kitchen, we stage the bathrooms, because even though bathrooms are small, you don't generally want to go into a dingy bathroom.
And they don't photograph very well a lot of the time.
No, they don't. And if there's any type of clutter or any type of personal stuff out there, it's just like, okay, this isn't my place. I can't envision my stuff here. I would never use that. Buyers just can't get past that in their head. It's not, they know that it's not theirs, but they can't envision their stuff there because your stuff is there.
Yeah.
So the living room, the kitchen, the bathrooms, the master bedroom, there's always going to be the person who buys the house, and they're the master, and they get the master bedroom.
Which is now the National Association of Realtors prefers that us realtors call that space the owner's retreat or the owner's room.
Oh, well, okay then. Well,
you'd be surprised at the number of things we can't say.
Wow. Okay. So the owner's room, it should be a retreat. It should say, I just want to sleep here. I want to relax here. You don't have to have a TV. You don't. In fact, I ask that most of the TVs be taken out. If we can do without the TVs, I try to get those out. They just clutter the space. They immediately draw the eye because it's a big black hole.
And that makes it easier for you to stage.
It makes it a lot easier for me to stage. So generally in a staging report, I ask that the TVs be removed. Unless they're staying with the house, and then it's like, oh, okay, I have to work with it. But
what are some of the biggest ahas that you see when the customers walk through and, they see their home stage? Maybe they vacated, which we actually prefer.
Yes.
That they vacate and let you stage and then they come back. What are some of the biggest comments that you see and you hear them say, and usually in what room is that?
Well, generally it's not the kitchen or the bathrooms, maybe just because I take a different approach, but they see all the space that they actually had, and that it was had been so covered up, so full of dressers and chairs and all this furniture that they couldn't see it anymore. And they realized, wow, this really is a big room. And that's another thing that staging does for pictures, as opposed to just having an empty house that's brand new, clean. You can't see scale. There's so many houses I look at online, and you cannot tell, okay, is that bedroom 2 or 5, because they all look the same. And is that the same picture just at a different angle? And you can't tell how big the room is because there's nothing to show you. It could be a tiny window, it could be a big window. So you really need to present some type of scale in a room.
And some of these pictures are wild that we see the way they have it laid out, or they take it with the fisheye. Like, that's so distracting.
That is very distracting. That bubble that stretches things out, and it's very deceiving. So when someone gets there, they're very disappointed immediately.
So some of the big fixes, like at the top of the list, that we're going to recommend when we go into a home, and this is where you're going to spend a little bit and get a huge return on investment, even outside of staging. And that's the number one thing we usually have to do before you come in and stage, and that's decluttering.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So 93% of the time, that's going to be right at the top of the things that need to be adjusted.
And that
fixed.
costs you nothing. Get rid of stuff.
Start purging, packing, figure out what you're taking, what you're not. It's a great time to have a garage sale or two, and then pack the rest in a pod. Get it out of there.
Well, the first part of it is, even if you're just in the beginning stages, you can figure out what you don't love. If you don't love something, if it doesn't add value to your life, then get rid of it. Give it away. Bless someone else with it.
And if you haven't touched it or used it in 3 years, I would think would be the most, right? But a year?
Oh, if you haven't touched it in a year, you're probably not going to. I mean, you can get rid of that. I have a bit of a pack rat history in me, so I'm like, oh, I could use that later. But what I've found is that I don't. And there
Isn't
are
that funny, Leo? You wouldn't imagine the home stager saying that she has a pack rat history, right?
Yes,
She's got 5 storage units.
Well, she has to be. She has to pack those things in there.
Okay, that's it.
Well, the funny thing is that now I'm beginning to see that I bought things with certain colors that I needed or thought I needed, and now I find that I use like the same 15 kitchen towels over and over again, and instead of going and buying new patterns and things, I use the same things because they really have to be somewhat generic to appeal to everyone. So I'm really just going for the color and trying to catch your eye when I do that. But decluttering is the best thing you can do for your house, and then after that is cleaning it. Deep clean. Every nook and cranny, even the sliders in the grooves of the sliders, the windows. I know you hate doing that. Taking the screens off and cleaning that part, you're going to feel better living in a clean home, and the new buyer will thank you for it.
I don't know how often you see this, Leo, but many times, people will recommend if you're cleaning the windows anyway, go ahead and leave the screens off. Leave those in a little space in the garage. Do you see that much, Leo, where they're removed and sit in the
It's
garage?
a defect not to have screens on windows. So,
but it's much brighter when you walk in.
yeah, but when we see no screens, we're flagging it as a defect, and then we have to be told or shown where the screens are, and then we have to go through them and make sure they're not damaged. So we would prefer this as an inspector. I want to see the screens left on, but I love the cleaning because if you've cleaned the windows and you verified they open and close, and you've cleaned the tracks so the doors can open and close, these are potential defects that we would flag that are just completely avoided now because they're handled.
Exactly. Well, yes, and it presents so much better. So it's the best thing you can do all the way around.
And right there behind cleaning is cleaning your carpets and your grout and your tile.
Yes.
Making sure it's pretty, because there's nothing worse than like dirty grout or nasty carpet.
Yeah.
So, and sometimes you got to replace those before we come in.
Yeah, well, you're usually going to take a hit on a purchase price if someone is, saying coming in and they're looking at the carpet, they're like, this is going to have to be replaced.
So I'll tell you a little secret. This was so long ago, it feels like another life ago. And I wasn't actively selling real estate at the time. I was only doing mortgages. And I'm a prime example of why that last hour matters, because I paid a company to just throw it in the MLS. I thought I knew better and I could sell it on my own. And then we even put in the MLS that we would give a carpet allowance because we had pets, right, and kids, and they do the worst, damage the carpet. And I just, even though the allowance was in there, we gave like a $5,000 allowance, and it was only like 1 or 2 rooms that needed to be replaced, and the home didn't sell. And I tell you, the second that we bought new carpet and rolled it out, it wasn't even installed, we rolled it out so that the buyer could physically see that new carpet was going to be installed. We had a showing right then, and I had already hired an agent, a full service agent like me, to sell it. And these are the rock stars, right? The connectors that are working with buyers and other agents that really know stuff. We had a full price offer dang near right away.
Wow. And it does. I shouldn't be amazed, but I'm always amazed every single time. It gives me a warm, fuzzy feeling in my heart when something sells so quickly. But
the next thing is Fido. So we're going to talk about your doggies, your kitties, your pets. Not only does the inspector, like Leo, not want to encounter your pets, but you really want to remove them, right? Because there's animal dander. There's people that are afraid of cats. There's
scared.
people that are afraid of dogs.
I just want the yard cleaned.
And the yard, yes.
Just clean
Don't
the yard.
forget about the yard.
Yes.
Yeah, that goes into that as well. But you want to take the pets out whenever you are showing the property. Make it much, much easier before they get there.
Yes.
And then when we come back, we're going to roll into the next one. And this is kind of where Leo comes into play. And we'll talk about it again in a minute and let him chime in on why this matters, why he thinks it matters as an inspector. And I'll tell you why it does too. All right, our off-air number is 813-377-2775. You can call or text us at 813-377-2775. And this is Tampa Home Talk. We will be back with myself, Leo, and Kim right after this break. Stick around.
Well, good morning. Welcome back. I can't believe it's almost been 2 hours with Katrina and Leo on the air.
Unbelievable how fast time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah, when last segment when you were talking about something that happened a lifetime ago, I thought you were referring to our 8 o'clock hour.
Close. Only about 20 plus years ago. But anyway, we're right in the middle of how to plan and prepare for your first impression with your buyer. You missed it. If you missed it, you got to get the whole show in its entirety on a podcast. Or you can just send us a little ping, little text, or call us, and we'll send you a link even easier.
And you can see a video, too.
We'll send you a video as well. 813-377-2775. Thanks to Leo. He gives us some nice, great quality videos.
I'm so glad it's now level.
It's level. It took the non-engineer to fix that. Go figure.
The engineer shows up with 20 seconds every week to spare.
Literally, he's not kidding, 20 seconds. I'm waiting for the day he's stuck in traffic, and he calls Pat to say, yeah, there's this major thing, by the way.
Oh, gosh.
I try.
So another simple thing on our list, which is like 75% of why it matters, which is really, really, really important, making some minor repairs that could actually freak a buyer out. Leo, give me a couple of those things that are like on every report. That's
I had
easy
one
fix.
yesterday. The roof was replaced a year ago. But in the inside, the skylights all had water damage around them. There was actually water streaks going down the whole wall. There was another section of the house where two different roof pitches met, and I can see the wall, the popcorn ceiling starting to flake off the wall. All of that. They ended up getting the house 75% of what they should have on market value because they didn't do the repairs. They spent the 10 grand on the new roof, didn't spend the $700 or $800 to fix the interior of the house. So it looked like the house was falling apart on the inside, even though it had the brand new roof.
And that's one of the things on our list is repainting, painting the walls. And that would do, after you make that repair, Leo, that would be something that would get painted. But fresh paint and cleaning, I mean, those are some of the best things you can do. And Noel at Noel's Painting is one of our show partners, and he does a bang-up job. You've met Noel before, Kim, so he does a great job on our painting.
I've given many recommendations.
Yes, he's awesome. And then one of the other things is just depersonalizing. So again, we don't want the buyer's eyeballs going towards your family photos. You want to take those out so that they are not basically glaring at your family trying to figure out who you are. We want that eye to go in and visually follow that wow factor.
And you also don't want your college, your favorite college team, someone's going to walk in and say, oh, no, I'm not living here.
It's a pretty big rival state for colleges. We really are. And so sometimes people get mad when I'm like, hey, you have to take down the Seminole flag or take down the Gator flag or whatever it is.
Absolutely.
Take it with you to your next house. Don't leave it for the buyer to see.
Right. If you really want to sell your home, those things don't matter. Just pack them away. They'll go with you to your next place. You're not doing pride of ownership right now. You're trying to sell your home.
That's right.
And the home has to become a house.
Yep. So one of the most one of the important things that I think most people don't know is how affording home staging can actually be.
Yes. Especially if you work with Katrina, because she works with me.
That's right. So we have special discounts and prices just for our listeners. And if they don't want to pay for it, we're going to do it. So if you're listening to this and you heard me say it, just ask and I'll pay for your home staging too. 813-377-2775. We will offer that to our listeners as well. Free. No charge. We will include it with your listing. We will take care of Kim staging your home. But if someone just say they're already in their home, because we get a lot of people that listen to Tampa Home Talk that are not in the market to buy and sell, but maybe they're just listening and they want to know how home staging can benefit them and what it would cost them to have you come just, tidy up and tweak and just make the space feel good when they come home.
It's $150.
And that's just for their walkthrough, right?
That's for the walkthrough. I can make all these suggestions. I would probably even stay and work with them a little bit, if they're not sure how to do things. I'm very hands-on.
Yes. But if they want you to come in and actually do the staging, which there's a lot of value in that as well. There's a ton of value for me as the agent for you to do that part of it. What does something like that run?
So it's $150 for the consultation, and they get that full part. It can either be a DIY or I will tack on, if you want me to come back and we will purchase certain furniture, we'll do a paint color selection, we'll do all those different things. Then it's more of an hourly rate after that. So it is affordable. It's just if you don't know where to look, if you don't know where to shop, I can either include that in your DIY report, or then I can go find the things for you, because I'm always shopping for stuff.
Here's the impact that us realtors know that staging a home basically has on the price. And about 1/3 of buyer agents will tell you that staging a home can actually increase the sales price anywhere from 1% to 5% just by staging it.
Yes.
You know, you're going to get 1% to 5% more. And then 13% of agents say that staging increases the selling prices by 6% to 10%. And I would agree with that. I would say that we can always, when we come in as an agent, we're going to look at what the range is for that home, because there's never an exact price. The exact price is what a buyer's willing to pay for your home.
Exactly.
That's the exact value of your home. I don't care what anybody says, it's what a buyer's willing to pay. And then when you look at that, there's always that range. And so as a realtor like me, we're always trying to get the seller the upper end of that price range. So that's why I don't care if I have to ask for a price reduction later. I want to give that home the opportunity to sell at the highest possible price.
Right.
The key is making those adjustments very quickly, especially in a shifting market.
Yes.
5% of agents are going to tell you that staging adds 11 to 20% of the sales price. So this is just some of the different variations that different realtors believe. But the bottom line is, at the end of the day, even 1/3 of agents believe that it will offer at least 1% more in value to your home.
And that's definitely worth the price of having someone come in and stage it, because if it's 1% and you get that full percent, then you've taken care of the cost plus.
Yeah, and I think it's more, honestly.
Oh, it has to be more. Like you said, we're in a shifting market right now, so it's more important than ever to present your home in the best possible light.
Yeah, I mean, it's a competition.
Yes.
It's a competition between yours and the other ones. And, you know, the seller that can win that competition is the one that can have the home staged, make sure it shows well, it's clean, and it's priced right to encourage the buyer to make an offer.
Right.
You know, don't make it difficult for a buyer to get in when they want to get in.
Right.
You know, what you're not seeing, and this is what we try to explain to our sellers, we know it's not always the most convenient time, right? If a buyer agent is scheduling a showing between 5:30 and 6:30, we know you're just getting home from work and it's not convenient, but the bottom line is they probably have 5 other homes they're trying to show, and so they're trying to fit it into their showing schedule. And so to say, oh, it's just not convenient, I don't want to do it, you're actually missing out, because that buyer could be making an offer on a home, and guess which home it's not going to be if you don't allow them to see it.
That's right.
So again, I'm Katrina Madewell. I'm the host of Tampa Home Talk here with Leo Kane every week, and Kimberly Bridges with a Flipped Room, one of our official show partners for Tampa Home Talk, and we love having you as our stager.
I love being your stager.
Awesome, and we love working with you. And remember, love where you live, or we're going to fix it, whether that means an introduction to Kim or me helping you move in, move out, or move up. We'll be glad to help. Our off-air number is 813-377-2775. Remember, love where you live, we're going to fix it. 813-377-2775. Welcome home.